So at the Game Awards, new Tomb Raider games got announced, and after a complete deluge of sludge when it comes to Tomb Raider content for the last decade at least, needless to say, I was surprised that these looked so damn good. And I thought, who could be upset at this? And then the internet happened. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle. And yes, we have this video right here. Why are fake gamers furious over Lara Croft now? Let's take a look. Let's find out why. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. And who'd thunk? Me being the one being positive about video games and wondering why everyone else is so negative. Oh, how the turns have tabled.
Everyone is mad at Tomb Raider right now, except the people that actually play games, guys. Yeah. Tomb Raider's actually really controversial right now. You got everybody on the internet divided about the new Lara Croft that was revealed this past week at the Game Awards, with two new Tomb Raider games coming out, a remake and then a brand new game here. And they showed her new design.
Look at that new design. Look at that new design. What is there to be upset spaghetti about? Like, this looks good. Again, if I'll say the same thing as on Saturday Night Hypnosis. If I was to levy one criticism, just one single criticism, it wouldn't even be specific to Tomb Raider. It would be the criticism I have for the vast majority of modern gaming. That includes things like Resident Evil, Tomb Raider. Most modern gaming has this, in that they go for realism as opposed to stylization. And when we go look back on this era of gaming, 15, 10, 20 years, whatever it may be, everything's going to have that same look to it. There's no distinctive art styles game to game for a lot of these big main AAA games that are anything like that set it apart, that make it stand out. It's all just realism, and I don't like that. Good graphics doesn't inherently mean realistic. You can have beautiful graphics and still have distinct art styles. And again, that's not even, while I think that these new Tomb Raider games are doing that, if that's the biggest criticism, at least as of right now, then they probably be doing something right.
And there's a lot of people out there that are upset about Lara Croft. Now, let's be real, Netflix as of late didn't really help as far as the Lara Croft criticism goes, and then it just...
Well, not only did Netflix not help, but the later Crystal Dynamics games didn't help. I would say the live-action movie that came out based off the Crystal Dynamics games didn't help, but nobody saw that.
Seems like as of late they've been wanting to make Lara Croft manly with a big DEI chin. But to me, this Lara Croft, the too long didn't read of this, I like it. I think the people that actually hate this new Lara Croft, their performative outrage is kind of cringe. But most importantly, like I said, they aren't gamers. And that disconnect tells you everything that you need to know about what's happening in the industry today. After the reveal of Tomb Raider this past Game Awards, the reaction split immediately, guys. On one side, you had critics, journalists, social media tastemakers, right? Calling the design regressive, problematic.
Again, let's. What is regressive about this exactly? Like, you got tastefully sized titties. Now, mind you, I know a lot of you want to be bigger. Me personally, I couldn't care less. I like me a nice 36C. That's your boy's preference. But yeah, she got a pretty face, just like Lara's supposed to have a pretty face. She's still out there dual wielding the blickies, so she's your strong female character that y'all want oh so much. Like, this is the one thing that critics from both sides of the gaming controversies, both the retards and the people that are right like me, should for once be in agreement on, because it legitimately seems like this could be the actual best of both worlds. Ironically enough, because Lara is being done right, which is, let's do what we did in the 90s, but, with modern day quality of life, modern day visuals, a game that everybody loved in the 90s, a series of games that everybody loved in the 90s, but again, internet gonna internet.
Right? Calling the design regressive, problematic, outdated. On the other side, you had gamers that were saying something very simple. This looks like Tomb Raider again, and that's the key.
Now, to be fair, I'm going to disagree with Eric here, 8-bit Eric, in that I saw a lot of gamers say she still wasn't hot enough. To that, I say, y'all are fucking retarded.
Point, everybody keeps dancing around, guys. For years, Lara Croft has not belonged to gamers, not in TV, not in animation, not even in some of the later games, guys. She's been constantly reinterpreted, recontextualized, rewritten, whatever you want out there, guys, to fit whatever cultural mood was trending at the time. And what we saw in these trailers, in my opinion, wasn't controversy. It was course correction. They're correcting the course. They're going back to what works. Now, you're going to have people on both sides of the fence, whether they're woke or quote unquote anti-woke, complaining about this Lara Croft, because nobody's going to be happy at all. I've seen people that lean left upset that she looks like a female again, and I've seen people on the right upset for whatever fucking reason, because I guess they have to.
Okay, maybe I jumped on Eric's case too soon. He did, in fact, start calling out folk on the right that are saying like she's not hot enough or whatnot. My bad, Eric.
Pretend that they don't like Tomb Raider still. I have no clue, but I think this version of Lara Croft.
Now, I will say, and a lot of us agree with this, the version of the game that's not a remake, Tomb Raider Catalyst, I believe it's called, there is something about her design here that seems off-model. Which, mind you, that's not the same as saying, like, she's ugly or throwing a bitch fit that, like, oh, man, DEI in games. Ah, look at the chin. Like, no, nothing like that. I'll say that shit when it's warranted. But look at this. It ain't warranted. But it does, there's something about it that looks off-model. And it could just be because she's aged up. Like, obviously, there's a large gap. One is a remake of, the original games. This is a completely new entry. So there's probably years of difference. Because it seems like it's the same actress. Again, the visuals all still look good in the trailer. Her attitude is still there. I can't place what it is that seems off to me. It's just, to use the kids' slang, it doesn't pass the vibe check. But it still looks good. I'm not going to let, this one trailer where parts of it she looks off-model keep me from buying the game or enjoying the game if everything else thus far still looks great.
Looks athletic, stylish, confident. She has some assets that I could definitely get behind, pun intended. And most importantly, she's moving like classic Lara Croft. She acts like classic Lara Croft. And also...
Lara, guys, Lara. It's not Laura. Lara.
She looks like a character designed first for gameplay and not messaging, which that's the thing that we've been seeing in modern AAA third-party slop, is that characters are designed for messaging. They can't be too masculine. They can't be too feminine. They have to be just gender neutral enough to not offend anybody, right? We can't have attractive people in our video games. Even
androgyny has all the spice of flour.
No, that side will paint it as, oh, well, you just want to jerk off to your stuff. No, motherfucker. We just want attractive-looking characters in our games because it's an escape from reality. And if I'm going to be playing a game with Lara Croft, I want her to look like Lara Croft. All right? I understand why that's an issue, but there's always some kind of, like, messaging behind stuff these days, which is why a lot of art direction in these games, like Dustborn, Concord, even Assassin's Creed Shadows recently, Star Wars Outlaws. The list just goes on and on. They have these characters that are just soulless. They don't stand out enough as individuals. It's a real thing. It's a real thing that's affecting the gaming community. But again, like I said, this design of Lara Croft looks like course correction, and that's why gamers responded so positively. And you're allowed to have your difference of opinion. Don't let me shut you down on that. But guess what? Your opinion's wrong. I
don't know how much of the opinions of individuals he's going to show or not, but I've been seeing a wide, crazy range of opinions about this from folk that, by and large, seem like they don't know shit about the actual games. Let me show you guys a few examples, right? So, we had this post. This post went mega viral, and I don't know why. This post is retarded. But the responses to it are also equally retarded. Tomb Raider is an IP designed for teenage boys. It is not for grown women. It is not for queer folks like myself. It is not even for grown-ass men. Lara Croft is a character designed for the sole purpose of luring males between 16 and 21 into buying a video game. That is objectively false. You don't become one of the biggest icons in gaming, right? If you had to make a top 20 list, I don't know if Lara hits top 10, but I would say she hits top 20. If you had to make a top 20 list of gaming icons, she's gonna be on that list. She ain't gonna stand like shoulder to shoulder with like Mario, Sonic, maybe even Master Chief, but she's definitely up there. So yeah, if you don't get to that level unless you've got some sort of broad appeal, not just appeal to broads or appeals to dudes. Also, 16 to 21 to buy a video game. I remember my dad in his 30s playing Tomb Raider, my uncle mid-20s playing Tomb Raider. I was a wee lad in my single digits playing Tomb Raider. So yeah, this whole post is nonsense. But then the follow-ups are also nonsense. When this person finds out that 90% of the Tomb Raider fan base is composed of homosexuals and women, she's going to have an aneurysm. Okay, guys, I've been playing Tomb Raider for a long time. Damn near 30 years, right? I don't recall the fan base being mostly women or homosexual. Now, I get it. Demographics change. But you ain't selling no video game to masses if that's your audience, because that's just not a massive audience. What about this one right here? Worst take yet. She's a queer icon, and she'll always be. When did Lara Croft become a queer icon? 90% of the fan base is LGBTQ. Where are we getting this 90% of the Tomb Raider fandom is composed? 90%. Dude, this is why I believe in dead internet theory, guys. This is why I believe in dead internet theory. What are the odds that they both came out with the 90% statistic? By the way, no, 90% of the fan base is not LGBTQ+, because that's, like, if we're being generous, 7% of the population. So what? Of 7% of the overall population makes up 90% of the game's fan base. Tell me the game ain't gonna sell without telling me the game ain't gonna sell if that's the numbers that are accurate. Obviously, those aren't the numbers that are accurate. Across the globe, world designed specifically for male audiences, she broke every single barrier, and she's still thriving. I don't know about really breaking barriers and whatnot. Like, Samus was around first. What about this one right here? Not for grown women, not for queer folks. The way I can tell you absolutely no idea who most Tomb Raider and Lara Croft fandom is comprised is hilarious. Again, where did this come from? Not even that it fucking matters. Like, yo, if you like to suck cock, if you like to munch the rug, and you want to play Tomb Raider, fucking go for it. But where's this narrative that that's the majority of the fan base? That makes no goddamn sense, just on a mathematical level.
You think that this Lara Croft looks terrible. We've seen what happens with studios when they stop catering to a message, right? Look at the last decade of adaptations with Netflix, Tomb Raider. The series for that is a perfect example, right? Instead of adventure and mystery, we have a focus that shifted towards constant self-doubt from Lara. She was full of guilt. There was moral lectures there. She wasn't driven by curiosity or ambition. She wasn't herself, right? She was written to apologize for her own legacy. They had this whole thing about like colonizers and shit in there, right?
And that's why so there's a post that was beautiful, and I'll show you guys right now because I reshared it. Where was it? All right, so yeah, so I responded with fatality, and here's why. This post might be the most glorious thing you'll see, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but Tomb Raider Files. She was always protecting relics. You never played the games, don't you? Well, first of all, that's terrible grammar. Homeboy comes in. Are we really going to do this? We can absolutely do this. Fact check. Here's a rundown of each game's primary plot point and how they relate to Lara's morality or supposed drive to protect relics. And then he gives the plot of all 6 of the original Tomb Raider games. Let me tell you. He says what I've been saying for years. Lara kind of a cunt. Lara a little bit of a bitch, mind you. That's why we like her. That's why she's fun. Because she's kind of a fucking bitch. She's selfish. She's got selfish motivation. She's in it for herself. When she does end up saving the world and shit, it's usually just like a byproduct of her already going in to steal some artifacts. She ain't no Indiana Jones. This belongs in a museum. Like, no. Lara, like, she steals the artifacts. She keeps them in her mansion. She's an adrenaline junkie. She does this shit for the thrills, dude. And again, this breaks it all down. This is a brilliant fucking post. So yeah, you all should read it. It nails the character perfectly. But needless to say, yes, we definitely saw a complete and utter reframing, a total change to Lara in the recent years, and it's one that has absolutely been for the net negative, because it took her from an archetype we don't see often, either in male or female characters, really, when it comes to main characters, to just generic good guy that we see fucking everywhere.
Right? It was kind of weird. It was a weird adaptation of Lara Croft that didn't hit right. That's why it was met with a lot of negative feedback.
And that's why it'll be canceled after season 2, because Netflix always orders animated and 2 batches of 2 seasons. Yeah, ain't going any further than that.
I guess the remake of it, Atlantis, it taps into something that remasters already proved, guys, that you don't need to reinvent Lara Croft to make her relevant. You don't. She's an icon. Keep her true to the classic formula. When the classic Tomb Raider...
Yeah, she's an icon. She's a gaming icon, not a queer icon.
Remasters release, guys, gamers praise them specifically because they didn't try to modernize her personality or redesign her identity. They preserved what worked. They upgraded the tech around it,
and people fucking loved it. The Tomb Raider remasters that came out, which I'll be 100% honest with you guys, I have, but I haven't played yet. I have an extensive backlog. I game so goddamn much. I need to get to the Tomb Raider remasters. I've not played them yet, though, even though I do own them. The point is, I do know what the response was around them, and it was universal love, praise, and adoration from actual Tomb Raider fans because they were done right.
Honestly, what it should be like. You know what? I'll give Capcom some kudos. Leon Kennedy is a perfect example of a character that stays true to who they are, and they update the tech around them. Leon...
Yeah, Capcom does that for male characters all the time. They're not doing it for their female characters, though.
Kennedy is amazing. Watch Resident Evil Requiem fuck Leon Kennedy up now, just because I said that. But yeah, when you...
Good. I hope they do. Fuck Resident Evil Requiem.
You have this classic Tomb Raider remaster, keep Lara Croft true to where she was, and they preserved what worked and stuff. People loved those remasters. They were critically acclaimed and good. And now this new game, Atlantis, feels like the same philosophy, just applied to a brand new experience, which is why people were excited about it.
I think he means this new game, Catalyst, because again, Atlantis is the remake. I think he means Catalyst.
Now, to be clear, and let me emphasize it, that doesn't mean that every upcoming Tomb Raider project is automatically safe. They fixed her, right? There's still skepticism around future titles, like the Catalyst game, especially with how little we know about its tone and direction. We don't know the story. We don't know who's writing with it. We don't know who's developing in it. Gamers are indeed watching closely because they've seen this pattern before, guys. There's one project aimed at fans, right? So that's the Atlantis remake. That's the one that fans are all excited for. It's aimed at them. And then the other one's going to be aimed at something else entirely. We've seen that. So that could be the possibility here. Catalyst could be the fucking woke one. And that's why this moment matters, guys. This isn't just about Lara Croft design. It's about who games are being made for again. Because, again, that's something that a lot of these companies forgot. They forgot who their core audience is. They forget.
I think he's entirely correct about this. And it's something that, I praise both. I think Catalyst looks good, but let's be real. Catalyst also was just a cinematic trailer. We haven't seen any gameplay. Yeah, Lara still looks good. We don't know anything about it, though. I do think that Eric is onto something. This is a test as to where the audience is going, where the market is going, who is buying these games. I've been saying it for years upon years upon years. The ideology and the identity politics, that can only go so far when the opposition are not buying your games. Let's be real. By and large, they're not. So when you got something like Tomb Raider, this Atlantis one coming out, which is a retread, a remake, it's going back to clearly what did work, what gamers loved. That game is going to do gangbusters. It is going to sell out the ass. The sequel, or the new one, Catalyst, likely also will as well, if they don't fuck it up in the marketing and expose whether or not it is an ideologically driven game. But if they're smart about it, they won't do that. Now, you might get a Last of Us 2 situation where, it turns out a lot of people buy the game, so it's massively successful, and then they bait and switch you because they didn't give away the bait and switch in the trailers and whatnot. That would, at least from a marketing perspective, from a sales perspective, be the right thing to do. Or you could just do the right thing at the gate and make it just like the originals, but now it's an all-new story. And maybe I'm being cautiously optimistic, but I think that's what we're going to see. I do think that we're going to see the Tomb Raider Catalyst just be a new story and it follow the traditional Tomb Raider that we all know and love. Why? Because that's what gamers have shown they want. That's what clearly shows it works. And there is some nervousness with Catalyst being tied to the Amazon show, if that rumor is true. I mean, this is Amazon Games doing this. Amazon has the rights to the Tomb Raider franchise. They're doing the live-action show. And, yeah, I get the worry there. Amazon's done very hit-and-miss things. They've got some incredible base shit like Reacher and the Terminal List. I think Fallout is an excellent adaptation. They've also got complete and utter dog shit like the Rings of Power, the Wheel of Time, the list goes on. So, like, how the Tomb Raider show is going to stack up is... I'll be real, we don't have a frame of reference. I don't know. It's probably going to be dog shit because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is involved, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is absolutely cancer. Yeah, definitely kills millions upon millions of United States citizens a year. But, you know, there could be the one time when she's not a complete... yeah, no, it's gonna suck.
At who they make video games for. Or as Austin Powers said, who does number 2 work for, right? It's true. They don't know who they make video games for, guys. So the backlash of this new Lara Croft and her appearance in Atlantis isn't coming from players that are upset about gameplay or controls or story potential. It's coming from people who've already decided what Tomb Raider should represent, regardless of whether that lines up with why the franchise became popular in the first place or not. Gamers don't want lectures, guys. Okay? They don't want self-loathing protagonists. They don't want icons that are flattened into symbols. They want adventure. They want confidence. They want characters that enjoy what they do. They want to have fun. All right? Video games are meant to be fun. They're meant to be fun. And that's why Atlantis is winning people over. That's why the reaction feels so intense, because it represents a shift studios can't ignore anymore. They have to go back to what works, guys. When developers listen to players instead of optics, the response is immediate. The proof is in the pudding. All right? Jello pudding pop. Brrr. Oh, that's...
Now, to be fair, this game is coming out next year, right? It's coming out 2026, which means it was likely in development since at least 2024, and likely probably 2022 or 2023. Game development cycles are a long time. Now, if we're seeing these ideological shifts, right, the game industry is always a bit behind. Frankly, so is the movie industry, but the game industry even more so because it takes even longer to make games on average. So if we're seeing a, let's call it, a base change towards Tomb Raider now, that would mean that they already had these thoughts and these ideas back in, let's say 2023 or so. That does actually line up with when Amazon was putting stuff out like the Terminal List, like Reacher. So, all in all, I can see this being the case, and if that is true, that just means we're going to get even more products like this as it goes on. If we're correct, this isn't some sort of, ideology-infested, buzzword-ridden, just propaganda piece
by Bill
disguised as a video game.
Cosby. No Cosby. Now, the big question now is whether Tomb Raider Atlantis will succeed. I'm actually interested in it. I saw the trailer. I was like, all right, let's go. Even even Catalyst, I'm a little interested in, but Atlantis.
I'm 90% sure it will succeed. Absolutely. I'm 90%. And the reason I say I'm 90% sure it'll succeed, I have no doubt that it's got its fans. It's going to sell like hotcakes out the gate, right? The question is, what's the budget? How big is the team working on it? What is the marketing? Really all the same questions we asked about movies can be applied to gaming. And it's... a lot of things seem like a success until you take a look behind the curtain or look under the hood and you realize, wait, they spent how fucking much? Wait, how much was marketing? And you realize that, all of a sudden selling 2 million copies don't really sound too good anymore. Now, do I think that's going to be the case with this? No, I don't think Amazon really has the inclination to waste that sort of money on their more or less fledgling game studio. But it is worth noting that there are other factors than just how many people bought the game.
Yes,
I'm
definitely going to be checking that out. I'm going to sink the teeth into it. And you know what? The other question is whether the industry actually learns from it, guys. Because if this works, if this knocks it out of the park, and early reactions are suggestion it will. A lot of long-standing assumptions about modernizing classic franchises are about to collapse. Okay, no more of that. Rompus time is over. But I want to know what you guys think. Is Tomb Raider finally back on track? Do we got the classic? Is the classic back, right? Or is this just a temporary win before they make the same mistakes again with the other game, Catalyst? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys like.
Yeah, link to that video is going to be in the description. Eric did a great job on that one, but he asked a pretty interesting question at the very end. He says, do you think this is just going to, basically, do you think that Catalyst is going to bait and switch, veer off? Cautiously optimistic, I don't think it will. I think it had a very strong cinematic trailer that did everything that a Tomb Raider game should do. I think that, again, minus the weirdness of Lara seeming slightly off model, like, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's gonna be a deal breaker for 95 to 99% of players. It certainly ain't gonna be one for me. Yeah, I mean, if more information comes out and there's things to worry about, then definitely talk about those things to worry about, bring attention to it. But as it currently stands, everything we've seen so far seems to be what we want. And that really is one of the major things that we have to take away from really gaming discourse as a whole, is that studios and publishers and individuals in the industry should be rewarded for doing the right things. Like, you could have the wokest, gayest, company, or they have an IP that's been just the wokest, gayest thing, but if they make something good, if they do something right, if they make something that as a player speaks to you and has actually put gamers first, not ideology first, then that shit does deserve the purchase to show, like, this is what we, the consumer, want. Because I'm gonna be real, I think a lot of this stuff, a lot of this agenda-driven bogus in gaming and really in entertainment as a whole, wasn't because, there is the idea that they want to have a global shift, a societal shift, a change to our cultural norms. There are folks out there that think that. There are folks that want that, especially at the upper echelons. But by and large, this was just gay-for-pay capitalism. I think we saw years upon years of this because they thought it would be profitable, because they got fucking metrics from Twitter when they thought everybody was gay, because Twitter would, censor people who were, straight, white, male, Republican, whatever it may be. When your whole marketing base thinks that, oh wow, look at all these gay folk buying our shit because that's all exists, gay folk, you make games more gay, you make movies more gay. Turns out that's actually not what the demographics bear out when you get a full scope of the people actually buying your products. And it's probably time to switch back to the original model, because you're losing too much money. Again, I truly think a lot of this shit is about to be behind us. Now, there's always going to be stuff to talk about. There's always going to be news to cover. There's always going to be agendas at play. But I do think the bulk of it's behind us. And I think, I hope, I pray, I'm cautiously optimistic for the idea that we're going to see a return to form, at least in 70 to 75% of the gaming industry. But these are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Let me know on X. You can find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about the gaming industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check us out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles we go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos we react to on the daily streams, and of course get involved with over 250 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to go even further, because we do care about diversity. Only one kind of diversity of thought that's interesting to you. Join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.